Have you ever wondered what happens when the person who takes care of everyone else's feelings finally stops caring? You know exactly who you are. You're the one everyone calls when their life falls apart, the one who listens, comforts, absorbs, but deep down, you carry a silent fear. If you ever stopped giving yourself away, would anyone actually stay? The harsh reality is the most empathetic people aren't gentle by choice. They've become this way out of fear, the fear of being abandoned, rejected, unloved. So you keep giving, keep enduring, keep absorbing pain that isn't yours. You quietly sacrifice your own needs, hoping to earn a place in someone's life. But have you noticed something strange? No matter how much you sacrifice, it never truly feels like enough. Instead, you end up losing yourself piece by piece until one day, you barely recognize your own reflection. Have you secretly feared that if you stopped taking care of everyone else, you'd suddenly find yourself completely alone? Carl Jung once revealed that we don't please others because we're selfless. We do it because deep within, we fear rejection more than anything. It's not love that makes you endlessly available. It's your desperate desire to avoid loneliness. You've spent your life building emotional bridges for others, but who has ever built one back to you? But what happens on the day you finally stop building these bridges? Who do you become when you no longer care if others leave you behind? And perhaps more importantly, what would your world look like if you finally chose yourself over the fear of being abandoned? Alex always found himself caught in the role of peacekeeper in his family. During heated arguments or tense silences, all eyes naturally turned to him, quietly expecting him to step in, smooth things over, and say that everything was fine. For years, Alex said exactly what everyone wanted to hear. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. But one evening after a particularly exhausting family dinner, he found himself sitting alone in the silent living room, feeling utterly drained. He glanced around at empty chairs, echoes of voices fading into quietness, and suddenly thought, why am I always the one trying to fix things, yet no one has ever asked if I'm really okay? Maybe you felt exactly like Alex. Maybe you're the one who constantly makes sacrifices, choosing harmony over your own emotional well-being. The painful truth is that you might have believed, deep down, that sacrificing your peace is the only way to be loved, to be seen as valuable or necessary. There's a quiet, unconscious belief many carry inside. The more I sacrifice, the more indispensable I become. But ask yourself honestly, are you silently exchanging your peace for the illusion of being needed? Consider the doormat placed at a doorway, used every single day but never truly noticed. People step on it without thought or gratitude, because that's simply what a doormat does. Likewise, you've allowed others to lean heavily upon your emotional strength without recognition or appreciation. Over time, this constant giving can leave you quietly depleted, worn thin like fabric that's seen too many footsteps. You might have begun believing exhaustion is normal, just a side effect of life's demands. But what if the truth is simpler yet more uncomfortable? Your fatigue isn't from the demands of life, but from the quiet emotional drain of relationships that take far more than they give. Imagine receiving a seemingly innocent text. Hey, got a minute? Instead of warmth, you feel anxiety creeping up your spine. That single sentence holds an unspoken demand, an invisible pressure you know will cost you more than just a minute. It might mean hours of listening, reassuring, absorbing someone else's emotional burden. Afterward, you're left exhausted, wondering why these interactions leave you emptier rather than fulfilled. It's not about time spent, but the emotional imbalance within those interactions. Like an ice cube quietly melting away to keep another's drink cool, you sacrifice your comfort for someone else's relief, until there's nothing left of you. So ask yourself clearly, have you ever paused to consider why certain relationships drain you rather than nourish you? Have you noticed the subtle patterns, the consistent emotional withdrawals that others make from your emotional account, yet rarely deposit back into it? Like a wallet that others constantly borrow from but never replenish, your emotional reserves grow emptier each day. Eventually, there's nothing left. You lose interest in your passions, disconnect from joy, and feel a subtle but persistent lack of meaning. Life becomes monotonous, a repetition of tasks without genuine fulfillment. If you continue to ignore these signals, this emotional drain can quietly evolve into deeper struggles. You might lose your passion for work, lose connection to your own dreams and desires. Relationships that once felt nurturing begin to feel heavy, filled with obligation rather than genuine connection. The ironic truth is, by continuously sacrificing your needs, you're not truly helping anyone, not yourself, and certainly not the people relying on you. Without realizing it, you've become complicit in an unhealthy emotional cycle, reinforcing patterns of dependence that prevent both you and them from growing. But imagine the day you finally reach a breaking point. Not a loud collapse, but a calm realization. This isn't about revenge or resentment, it's about clarity, an awakening to the simple yet profound truth. Sacrificing yourself endlessly isn't love, it's quiet self-destruction. True compassion must begin with compassion toward yourself. How can you genuinely support others when you've emotionally depleted your own capacity to feel? Choosing yourself over constant sacrifice doesn't mean abandoning empathy. Instead, it means directing your empathy consciously, wisely, and selectively. It's about recognizing that your emotional energy is valuable, limited, and worth protecting. When you finally stop sacrificing yourself, the relationships worth keeping will naturally flourish. They'll adapt to your boundaries, respect your honesty, and appreciate your clarity. And those who don't, they'll fade away, not because you failed, but because their connection was built upon your quiet self-sacrifice rather than mutual respect. Interestingly, this awakening doesn't affect only you. It also transforms those around you. Carl Jung described a powerful phenomenon. When one person in a system changes, the entire system shifts. Your choice to honor your emotional boundaries doesn't just liberate you, it compels others to look inward, to acknowledge their own emotional responsibilities. Suddenly, they must confront their reliance on your endless patience and support. Your new stance quietly but effectively forces those around you to either grow emotionally or clearly reveal their true intentions. Yet, alongside this empowerment comes responsibility. Jung also warned that emotional intelligence without ethical grounding could lead to manipulation. As you awaken to your emotional strengths, you must remain self-aware, ensuring that your newfound boundaries serve healing rather than harm. The difference lies in your intention. Are you setting boundaries to protect yourself and foster genuine relationships, or simply to exert emotional control? Keeping this balance clear ensures your awakening remains a source of strength rather than manipulation. This journey of setting boundaries might feel uncomfortable initially. You might question yourself, worry about appearing selfish, or losing connections you've depended upon. But consider this clearly: relationships that demand your continuous self-sacrifice were never truly healthy to begin with. True connection thrives on mutual respect, honesty, and emotional reciprocity. When you no longer fear abandonment, you finally give others and yourself the chance to experience genuine intimacy, built upon authentic boundaries rather than quiet resentment. So ask yourself directly, who do you become when you stop endlessly sacrificing your emotional well-being? How does your world shift when you prioritize your inner peace over the fear of disappointing others? Choosing yourself isn't selfishness. It's a powerful act of courage, a quiet yet profound declaration of your inherent worth. You become a person who knows their emotional strength, who can care deeply without compromising their integrity, and who offers compassion wisely rather than blindly. Imagine clearly for a moment how Your relationships will transform when built upon honesty, clarity, and genuine boundaries. People who genuinely value you will remain, adapting positively to your newfound respect for your emotional health. Those who leave will only make room for healthier, more balanced connections. Ultimately, your life becomes simpler yet richer, less draining yet far more meaningful. The day you choose yourself over constant sacrifice isn't the day you lose others. It's the day you finally find yourself. The hardest truth you might ever face is this: you can't truly save anyone by allowing them to drain the life out of you. For years, you've quietly convinced yourself that absorbing the pain of others, endlessly building bridges of comfort and support, is the deepest expression of love. But is it really? Or is this relentless self-sacrifice just your unconscious way of avoiding facing yourself, the fears, the loneliness, the uncomfortable truths you've always managed to keep buried by attending to everyone else's wounds? Think of yourself as a bridge stretching tirelessly across two distant shores, designed solely to help others safely cross over their emotional turmoil. You stand firm, holding everyone else's weight, silently enduring their burdens, struggles, and anxieties. But over time, as you continue to hold everyone up, you begin to weaken, unnoticed and unsupported. Eventually, you realize something quietly devastating. Nobody has ever taken a step toward you. Everyone crosses safely, but nobody pauses midway to check how the bridge itself is holding up. And slowly, imperceptibly, the bridge starts to decay. Its foundations cracking, its supports buckling under the silent weight of continuous neglect. This metaphor might feel deeply familiar. Perhaps you've spent years being that bridge for family, friends, and even coworkers, believing your endless support was essential. But ask yourself honestly, are you sacrificing your own life simply because you're afraid of facing the loneliness you've spent your entire life running from? Is your constant availability actually rooted in a genuine desire to help? Or does it stem from a quiet, desperate need to feel valued, useful, indispensable, even if it costs you your emotional health and inner peace? This realization, though uncomfortable, carries immense power. The moment you finally acknowledge this fear and the true cost of your sacrifices, clarity arrives like a quiet storm. You recognize that true compassion can never require your self-destruction. You see clearly now that endlessly absorbing pain isn't love, it's avoidance. It's avoiding the deeper work, the challenging, beautiful task of genuinely facing and healing yourself. And this clarity changes everything. What happens when you finally decide to step away from the endless task of bridging gaps for everyone else and start building a connection with your own heart? Initially, it might feel terrifying. You might fear being called selfish, uncaring, even cold. Yet this brave choice is precisely what triggers profound growth, not only in yourself, but in everyone around you. Because the moment you stop sacrificing yourself isn't merely personal, it creates a powerful ripple effect through every system you belong to. Your family, your friendships, your workplace. Suddenly, the bridge they've always relied upon disappears. Without your constant support, others are forced to confront their own emotional responsibilities, their own shadows, their own unresolved issues. Your silence becomes a clear, undeniable mirror, reflecting back to them the emotional weight they've carelessly placed upon you for years. Carl Jung referred to this as the empath's mirror effect, the quiet yet transformative moment when one person's awakening compels an entire system to face uncomfortable truths. People around you begin to sense something profound has shifted. Your newfound boundaries compel them to reconsider their own behaviors, their emotional maturity, their reliance upon your sacrifices. Without saying a word, your change challenges others to either grow and evolve emotionally or to clearly reveal their unwillingness to do so. This isn't cruelty, it's profound honesty. By stepping back, you give others the space they desperately need to grow. Ironically, your refusal to carry their burdens might be the greatest gift you could offer. Your silence might teach them strength. Your boundaries might inspire their own self-awareness. But even if it doesn't, even if some people choose to step away rather than adapt, that is also clarity. It shows you precisely who valued you for you, and who only valued you for your endless sacrifices. But imagine for a moment, what if you finally stop bridging the gap for others and start rebuilding the connection with your own heart? Yet, there's something crucial you must consider. Awakening to your emotional intelligence comes with immense responsibility. As you become deeply aware of your intuitive gifts, it's vital to recognize that your profound sensitivity can quickly become a tool of manipulation if not handled consciously. Carl Jung warned that integrated empaths wield tremendous emotional power, capable of remarkable healing, but equally capable of causing harm if misused. The boundary between compassionate self-protection and subtle manipulation can be dangerously thin, and your greatest strength could become your deepest pitfall if you lack ethical grounding. Ask yourself honestly, how will you choose to use this newfound clarity? Will you allow your empathy to be a source of authentic connection and genuine healing? Or could it quietly shift into emotional control if you are not vigilant? True strength comes from using your emotional insight to foster honesty and growth, not to gain power or advantage. Your sensitivity is a precious and powerful tool, but like any powerful instrument, it demands careful handling, thoughtful intention, and unwavering self-awareness. Perhaps the most courageous act isn't how deeply you've cared for others all these years, but rather how bravely you choose to finally care for yourself. Perhaps real courage is about setting boundaries, not walls, but clear, compassionate limits that honor your sensitivity without exploiting it. Imagine what your life could become if you redirected all the empathy you've endlessly given away and began investing it inward, nurturing your emotional well-being and protecting your precious inner resources. Consider this. True strength doesn't lie in how much pain you can absorb for others. It lies in your quiet determination to honor your own emotional health first. Only then can your empathy become genuinely healing, because it comes from a place of clarity, strength, and authentic self-respect. So, if you recognize yourself in this story, if you've reached that quiet yet powerful moment of awakening, simply comment below, "I choose myself." Let this become your declaration that your empathy is sacred, your emotional well-being is non-negotiable, and your boundaries deserve respect. This simple statement can mark the beginning of your journey towards a more balanced, empowered, and authentic life. You no longer need to sacrifice your emotional health for others' comfort. Today, you give yourself permission to protect your sensitivity, to honor your worth, and above all, to choose yourself.